Welcome back to the long lunch. Now we're going to focus on rugby union and in particular the Waratahs. We've got Nick Piper who's joined us. He's the producer of a new documentary, an 8-part series called The Code, which will feature tonight on Fox Sports. We'll give you the details of that very shortly. This took it right behind the scenes, up close and personal. What did you learn about these big brutes that you didn't know about before?
They are fairly sensitive sort of gentlemen. They hurt. I think this is one of the things that has been focused on the Waratahs all season, is about the style of play and the fact that the fans have been disgruntled at times. They're a pretty emotional bunch of guys. You know, they feel the hurt as much as the fans do, and they feel the joy as much as I guess their coaching staff do when they win. And it comes as no great surprise to me, I guess, but the most important thing is that people out there will eventually learn that. I'm an outsider, effectively, so I've got a foot in the fans' camp and also the players' camp, so I've been able to see both sides, and I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised as what they learn about the Waratahs.
Okay, so you were saying they hurt. We saw last week the Waratahs had a fan forum where there was a lot of criticism that they kicked too much and other parts of their game weren't up to scratch. Do they take that sort of criticism on board?
I think they consider the criticism, and the coaches filter what they believe is necessary down to the players. But I think ultimately they can make their own minds up about what their style of play is like, and no one wants to be booed off the pitch as they were done in the game against the Chiefs, and the Cheetahs. But ultimately, at the end of the day, they want to win, and whatever style of rugby they play in order to achieve those victories is really, I think, it's probably more important than anything else.
Nick, I guess the Code will give viewers a behind-the-scenes type fly-on-the-wall view of all that goes on with a professional sporting club. There's lots that people don't see. Yeah. You'll take us into the dressing rooms, incidents at hotels, away on trips, all sorts of stuff. I guess there's some grey areas. You've got to be very careful. Sometimes there's been, with the Waratahs, a stigma of maybe an elitist, untouchable club. Will this help break that down? I
think so, and I think more importantly, it personalises the players. I mean, the whole idea of the Code came from a meeting with Adam Fryer, who used to be the Waratah hooker now with the Rebels, and he wrote an article in the paper basically saying he didn't believe that there was enough vehicles for rugby players to be personalised. I mean, we really want to know what the real Kurtley Beale and Drew Mitchell is like. And so I saw that opportunity to get in there. I think League and AFL have really well catered for on television, but rugby may be, with the exception of the Rugby Club, obviously, on Fox Sports, there may not be that vehicle to get under the skin, I guess, or within and behind the scenes of an organisation like the Waratahs. And from that, we were able to spend a good 9 months. We've been there for 9 months. We've ingratiated ourselves into the organisation. So we are part of the furniture now, and that gives them the opportunity to open up a little bit more to us. There's a real strategic approach to this. You can't just bowl on in with, did you beat a camera and a crew of 5 or 6? It goes through various stages of approval, and then you have to obviously be sure that you're going to represent what they want accurately on screen.
Well, 9 months is a long time, as you say. You've obviously earned the trust of the players.
I think so.
Were there any stories in particular that you think will come out of this that the public will be interested by?
I think Drew Mitchell and Kurtley Beale are unique individuals. Drew Mitchell has a really great sense of comic timing. Kurtley Beale was hilarious without really trying to be. I think
in a good way or a bad way?
In a great way. Yeah. In a great way. And it just proves too that these are two world-class players, yet they're able to switch on and off very easily between being professional rugby players focused on the job and then obviously having their fun off the field. And it's those moments that, look, to be honest with you, I mean, you guys will be able to tell me the answer to this anyway. I mean, have we seen a lot of what goes on behind rugby unions' doors in this country? We haven't. So anything from that point on is going to be a bonus for people. Specific stories, no, but in terms of the characters, by the end of the series, we hope more people will want to go and watch the Waratahs play because they kind of feel as if they've grown with that team.
Any budding film stars in the Waratahs camp?
I think Drew Mitchell has a future in broadcasting, and I've let him know that. I think he's very talented, yeah.
I guess this also tells a story from your point of view, from the media angle. I've worked as a media manager before with a rugby league club, and there is a lot of red tape to get the media inside the door. So I guess you had to tread very carefully, didn't you?
Yeah, there was a number of stages of approval that we went through. It got to the point where in September of last year, we spent a month in the organisation without really filming anything, but we just wanted to prove that we were willing to do the hard yards in order to earn the trust, to get inside the organisation, to know people by their first names, and to be part of the furniture. I use that analogy yet again, but it's important that they then can open up to us without feeling as if they're being prodded or poked in a reality television style of way. Good documentary making is all about being a silent witness. You're there in the corner and you witness what's going on. So we haven't written plot lines. To be fair, the Waratahs have given us plenty of drama already this year to form those plot lines and storylines. But for us, it really is just the case. We film what there is. There's nothing manufactured at all.
We've spoken about the comedians. Who are the brooders? Who are the serious ones in the team?
Al Baxter's very serious, very methodical, very calculated. But I think Al Baxter is probably going to have a huge future in other areas of industry, not just rugby.
And were you surprised by some of the things you might have uncovered or discovered at the Waratahs that you didn't know about before?
How hard they worked physically. I mean, we're talking about the sort of weights that they're lifting in the gym. It's been so heavy that the tripod would shake underneath the weight of those weights being dropped, or the bars being dropped, or being lifted and dropped. That took my breath away. And I've had experience of sport and physical fitness, etc. But the kind of weights that they were lifting in particular is incredible. And the number of hours they train and the intensity of which they train at is something that took me completely by surprise. I mean, these guys give everything.
How many players are playing with injuries every week, or carrying injuries that we wouldn't know about?
Well, I wouldn't know about that either. That's one of the areas that we weren't really privy to that information, and we weren't allowed to go. And to a certain degree, I think there needs to be those areas at which we don't. I mean, we're not allowed in the changing rooms in the 5 minutes before the game. And if there's a loss, then obviously we have to be very diplomatic about when we go in or not. And part of the reason for that is there has to be an area or a time or a place where we're not allowed to go. I mean, that's now in all parts of our lives. Even if we are reality TV stars, the camera can't go everywhere, and we've accepted that, and that's fine. And to be completely honest with you, the Waratahs have been from day one amazing with their access, and there's nothing that we haven't got that we wish we had. We've got everything we wanted.
That's great stuff. And I imagine when they were talking injuries, close the doors, Nick, your crew, get out. It's going to be on tonight. You can see it after the rugby club. Do tune in. I'm looking forward to watching it myself. Yeah. It's on 9:30 Eastern, Fox Sports 1 HD and Fox Sports 1.
And tell us, it's going for a few weeks as well. It's not just tonight. Eight parts.
The whole season. The story hasn't been completed yet, so it's really form your own ending kind of stuff with the Waratahs.
Were the players worried about how they were viewed by the public, do you think, personally?
I think they trusted us enough to know that when I come into the building at 9 o'clock on Monday morning, that they wouldn't have to knock my face in because I had represented them in a bad way. They trusted that we'd do a good thing by them.
All right, Nick, thanks again for coming in.
You're
welcome. Code Life with the Waratahs, 9:30 tonight, Fox Sports 1 HD and Fox Sports 1.
Thanks for joining us. Well, time for us to take a quick break here at Fox Sports News Long Lunch.